Hi guys, just to show you quickly what my settings are. So I will first start with my ASUS. This is the app that comes built in. So essentially it gives you the basic information, 95% battery, CPU load, memory load, hard drive, spaces, and you can also run one-click diagnosis. So you can see the serial number. Here is some of the information. CPUs, if you're not sure how fast your CPUs are working, you can get that here. Make sure this app is updated. Always make sure all your softwares are updated. Second app that comes built into this Asus laptop is Armoury Crate. Let's go this profile. So here you can tweak some of the major settings. Major setting you can change to the performance mode or turbo mode. For those who don't know, you can let the Windows decide. You can run it in a silent mode, performance mode, or turbo. Turbo will just simply increase the frequency. So we'll switch to turbo mode. See the frequency will go up. But I typically run the laptop at performance mode because that's how, it's a good combination of speed, fan speed, and the performance that I get. Here also you can see the sound the fans are making and the speed the fans are running. So if you're playing a game that requires more power, you can always have a profile for that game and set it at turbo. So you can see you can basically have different profile for different games. Okay, so the third important app is Nvidia's app. Again, very important. Does not look like important enough, but make sure the drivers are up to date. Then here also you can optimize the games. You just have to click the optimization and it will create a recommended setting for your game. This also improves the performance of some of the games. For recording, I use Nvidia overlay. If you want to see the FPS in real life, you can have that overlay enabled. So once the overlay is enabled, you can record the game, instant replays, and many more options. You can also show the stats like this in the game. So you can see in real life how many FPS you are getting, your CPU consumption, and your GPU consumption. You can change this. This is a basic setting. You can improve it to advanced or have a custom one where you can pick up whatever you want to see on the screen. So make sure the drivers are installed. And there is one more setting here. It used to be the old one, NVIDIA control panel. I don't use it anymore because this setting has moved to Windows, most of these settings. But if your game is not performing for some reason, you can always set up some things here as well. Like one of the things that I like to do is that there are global settings and there are program specific settings. So I can always go and change the settings for a specific program. So for example, Fortnite, all your games will be listed here. If they are not, you can always add them. So in some cases, I just select the right processors for it, the high performance one. Make sure that's the one selected. And then if you want to change one or two settings here, buffering or sync, you can change it. That way it will be safe for that game completely. So what I mean that this setting has moved to Windows. If you go to Windows, right click, show more option. So all display settings. So basically here, if you go to graphics, all those graphics settings have moved to this one now. So what I typically do here in this graphics setting is that, for example, this is the game. So when you click the option, it gives you these four options. Let Windows decide, power saving, it will use integrated GPU, and high performance. So high performance is the graphic card. Make sure this one is selected for your games. Otherwise, sometimes in the low graphic demanding games, the Windows decides to go with the integrated graphic card. You can also specify it. If you have more than one GPU, you can select it here. So that's basically it. These are the settings that matters the most. Other setting is the game mode. Let's go to that you have to basically see. Normally, what the opinion I got on the internet is that it's better to leave it on. Let's see how your game performs if you have left it on. There is some information on the website says that it will make your gaming experience better. But mine has been out since day one, so I'm not sure if it will do anything. This is the main setting. Other than that, I don't do a lot. Make sure the softwares are not running. You can always press Control Alt Delete, go to the task manager. Here you will know which softwares are running and how many memory or CPU these softwares are consuming. But as you can see, Chrome is the maximum one. If you are playing games, sure, Chrome is on. Just close it. Otherwise, it will take quite a lot of resources. Here is another way to see which GPU is contributing what. This data is, I get it on my game overlay. Startup apps. If you have startup apps that run automatically and consume resources, turn them on. There are more than one way, but normally it is not that difficult. I normally do it in one. And this one setting is basically DirectX. So if you want to check how your DirectX is upgraded or not, you can check this DXDIG. How it uploaded. And yeah, this gives you valuable information. What setting I was going to show you next. Startup. So to run, you go to MS config. Hopefully that's fine. Okay, so you can see the startup. This is also moved to the task manager. So you can basically enable disable from here. So for example, Google Drive starts every time I start the PC. I can always click disable and click disable. So disable whichever app you don't actually need, because most of the apps will just start working as soon as you come on the PC, and then they will just take up resources. And every byte counts. So if you are gaming and if you're facing problem with the game performance, then all these do count. And if you're using any recording software like I'm using OBS, it's not recommended. It takes up some resources, so you can turn them all off, all the launchers. will consume quite a lot of RAM. And once that is done, then you can enjoy your game in peace. Roblox has thank you for joining.